family at Summit Church. Yes, indeed. I'm Randall Cunningham, former QB for the Minnesota Vikings. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Pastor Eric is gone with Toby Mack, and they didn't take me. I hope that y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Pastor Tory is in the house. Come on now. He's there to have a great day. So you guys do your thing. Enjoy the chili bowl and save me a bowl. I'm not in town right now, but if I should happen to come to town, throw a little cheese and little onions on the top for me. Anyway, should be a great game day. God bless y'all. Randall Cunningham. Have a great one. Take care.
Man, that is quite the introduction, huh? Randall Cunningham. Honestly, Pastor Eric is literally in the air. I was texting him pictures. He says, I can't get pictures, but I'm glad you're having a good morning. So I think he's going to be here in time for some heat. And so Pastor Eric can handle the heat. It's part of his Nordic blood. And so I hope some of you brought some hot chili. But I respect that man and what he did on the field so much that I didn't wear my Green Bay Packers jersey today, because I just felt like I can't be introduced by a great like that and wear the green and the gold. So, but none of us are in the Super Bowl today, so that's okay. We can all be friends and root for the Los Angeles, Detroit Lions. What are they? The Lions or the Rams? I can't. It's good, it's good. Well, my name is Pastor Tory, and my wife, Elizabeth, and my daughter, Olivia, and my son, Louis. I think I have a picture here, but they're sitting right there if you guys want to wave. I love them. They are my joy. And we got a great call by Pastor Eric. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I knew Pastor Eric and his sister when I was a kid. In the nursery, his sister Stephanie and I were hanging out playing as a kid, and I think she stole a toy, and I bit her so hard that she still had the scar in college. I won't tell you where it is. And so I've known the family forever and ever and ever. We actually had his dad's painting on our wall as a kid. Like, that's how far we go back with the Tims, and we love them. And so Pastor Eric called us and said, hey, I'd love to take you to lunch. And my wife and I have spent 20 years in every week in, week out pastoral ministry. We planted 2 churches from scratch, ground up, start up. Planting isn't like botany, like we didn't do the grounds and that kind of thing at churches. We actually started, got a team together and launched them and then pastored them and handed over leadership to a new pastor as we shifted into a new thing God had for us each time. And so over these 20 years, we had just finished up our assignment, our last assignment, and we'd been in a season of rest and recovery and working on a new ministry that we're so excited to launch later this year. But Pastor Eric said, hey, I know you're not busy on Sundays. And I said, okay. He said, I am not going to be around as much as I would like to be. So would you guys pray about coming and being a part and helping Summit Church as we go forward into what God has for us? And I said, Pastor Eric, we are willing to help in whatever you need. You want me to clean toilets? He said, no, I got some folks for that. He said, but what I need you to do is to preach. And I said, okay, I can do that this week. And so that's why I'm up here, and he's coming, and we're so excited, and we're glad to be a part. So we're excited to meet you out in the chili cook-off. My wife knows some of you. She's a Shields. So if you know Mike and Mona Shields, they have been a part of here. And so I always drop that name after I introduce myself, because otherwise you'll just think I'm going to be like Mike. And I guess we're about the same height and build, but we're not that alike. But I love Mike and Mona, and they had just got back from Panama, and he said, just tell Summit to greet them and tell them I'm proud of them. And so if you know Mike, that's a classic Mike thing to say. Well, today is a super day. There's super things happening. If you, there's football, there's Olympics, literally NBC is just raking in the ad dollars from insurance companies. They are just, your premiums are going straight to NBC today. And so we're pretty excited. There's some really cool things happening. And I was thinking about this idea of what it would feel like to be playing as an NFL player in the NFL Super Bowl today. Can you imagine? Like at 3 years old, these kids, they got a ball and their parents were like, live my dream through you. And they were like, okay, I'm going to go be in the Super Bowl. At 3 years old, they've been thinking about it, dreaming about it. We had a conversation about Matt Stafford and how if he doesn't win today, it's like none of his years matter in the long run. He won't make it to the Hall of Fame. But if he wins today, he'll probably make it to the Hall of Fame. And so there's this energy and there's this expectation. And these guys have been working their entire careers for this moment. I have a friend who spent the last 6 or so years being the chaplain for the Miami Dolphins. And Terry said to me when I was talking to him about this, he said, you know, I meet all these guys. And one thing I tell him, I say, in the on season, he said, you are working, your diet is right, your exercise is right, your energy is right, you're getting up early, you're going to bed early, you're doing the right things, you're staying away from things, you're keeping your focus. And he said, that's how intense these people are. They give everything. They sacrifice. They move across the country. They beat their bodies. They do everything they can to be Super Bowl champions. And so few actually do. My family and I, we are Olympic fans, and we've been watching the Olympics. And this morning, I left a little later than I wanted to because I had to watch. I had to watch our ladies bring the gold home in the 500-meter ice skating, which is just incredible. I mean, they are just the athleticism and all that. And they were talking about the sacrifice and the energy and the work that went into them being at this moment for this time. And this young woman, she's an African-American woman, and she tried to get gold in short track and didn't do so well. And she tripped before in the finals and didn't get her spot. And so one of her co-racers said, you'll do better than I will. You take my spot. I mean, just total Olympic story and power. And they are working so hard, and they've gone through such trial and such difficulty and such just the amount of energy and effort that goes into this has been immense. A lifetime of dedication and activity so they could have the potential to win gold. It's pretty epic and it's pretty interesting. And I don't know about you, but when you talk about the Christian life and you talk about discipleship, and Pastor Eric has been walking us through who are we as Summit Church and what does it mean, and we've been talking, he and I, about what does it mean to be a disciple and how do we create disciples who disciple others, and all of the energy and all of the activity that we do as people. So many of us Christians, so many just people in general, we're just busy doing things. But not all the things that we're doing on purpose. And so here's the thing, here's the idea that I had. I just, because in Scripture, there's this idea that God gives us that there is a purpose to your Christian walk. There's a purpose to why we get up in the morning and serve at church, and why we share faith, and why we read our Bible, and why we do the things we do that are called discipleship or spiritual disciplines. And if we don't know why, then we're probably not going to be very dedicated to the what that Pastor Eric has been calling us to do. So here's the verse that I want to unpack here for you. This is out of 1 Corinthians chapter 9. If you got your Bibles, you can do it. If you got your handheld devices, you can look at it. If you have nothing, just look on the screen. Do you not know that in a race, all the runners run, or this morning, all the skaters skate, but only one gets the prize? USA. Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. Think of that. They do it to get a Lombardi trophy that they don't even get to keep. They get a gold ring, which is pretty cool, but it won't last. But we do it. Who's we? The church, Summit. We do it to get a crown that lasts through the chili cook-off. For a year. At least until our kids get out of college. Forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I think a lot of Christians, they understand what it means to come to Christ. Some of you have some compelling stories. You were going down a path. You were doing a thing. You had made some mistakes. You had lost some things. Maybe you made some mistakes and you got a DWI, or maybe you made some mistakes and you went to prison, or maybe you made some mistakes and it wasn't that bad. You just hurt people and you hurt yourself and you got into addictive behaviors, or you began to wonder if there's more to life, and you got stuck in a rut, and you were feeling like there was something missing in your heart and something missing in your life, and there was something missing, and you longed for a better life, and you longed for more, and you longed for something, and in so many ways it was like you were sick with an infection. And somebody told you about Jesus. Somebody said, hey, you need to come to church with me. Somebody said, hey, you need to come and hear this compelling speaker. Somebody said, hey, you need to show up. And so you did, and you got here, and they told you about Jesus and how Jesus can give you a better life and how Jesus can help you in the life you're in. And you thought, well, I need a better life, and this isn't going so good, and I want good things and good decisions that lead to good life choices. And that pastor seems pretty cool, and they seem like they've got it together, and so I'm going to surrender. I'm going to say, yes, Jesus, come into my heart. And some of you have even prayed that prayer here. And you began to experience a better life. Things began to get in tune. You began to realize, well, if I'm going to follow Christ, and Christ said, ask for forgiveness, confess your sins, then I'm going to do that. And so you went to people and you said, I'm sorry, forgive me. And you began to realize the 10 Commandments were pretty cool. I mean, it's like, love God, okay, I can do that. And don't, lie about people, okay, I can do that. I'll quit lying. And you're like, hey, don't steal stuff that's not yours. Okay, I'll do that, and that'll get me out of some trouble. And it was like, hey, don't sleep with your neighbor's spouse. Oh, okay, I can do that. I think I can do that. So you're doing that, and you're doing the things, and if you, honestly, if you didn't even believe in Jesus, but you followed the 10 Commandments, you would have a better life. It's proven. And so you began to get better. But just like when you go to the doctor with an infection and they hand you a batch of antibiotics, and the antibiotics start getting in your system and you start feeling better, what does it say on the bottom of the bottle? Complete all of these. Take them all. Why? You ever done it? You're like, man, I was stressed. I was so sick. Oh, I'm feeling better. I think I'll just not take these anymore. Oh, man, I'm feeling so much better. And a couple days later, you're like, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, God, help me. And then you go back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, did you complete the prescription? What do you mean by complete? I mean, I took it. It made me feel better. So I thought the prescription worked. And now it doesn't work. Finish the prescription to get it out of your system. And a lot of believers, a lot of Christians, a lot of you, a lot of me, we go through life and we get trapped in the cycle of Christianity where we're trying to have a better life and we're living for the better life and we're hoping for the better life and we're doing these things and we feel good and then we go back to our own ways. And we feel good and we go back to our own ways. And so then we say, okay, I got to get back to church. Pastor Eric, I haven't seen him in a while. He's probably going to preach something that I need. And man, I hope he's there today. Oh, we got this guy named Tory. I don't know, but we'll listen. And then somebody up here says, hey, come and get right with God. And you go, okay, I'll get right with God. And you start feeling better. And we get trapped in the gold or the reward of a better life. And you know what? There is a better life for Christians. There is a reward that is for all of us. There is a reward that Jesus talked about. Those of you who do not give everything cannot be my disciples. And so there's this attitude that we have to give up more than we are willing sometimes, but that's important. He says, therefore, I run this not with uncertainty. This is out of 1 Corinthians 9. Thus I fight, not as one who beats the air, but I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified for the prize. So he's saying, I do this, I'm intentional, I go through training, just like the Olympians go through training, just like, not for a better life. Like, you can't become an Olympian if you just want to be a good ice skater. You have to give everything to be an Olympic gold medal winner. You can't just hope that if I just want to be a good Christian and make it. Do you know what? All of you can make it to heaven. That's the promise, that's the goal. If you accept that you need a Savior, believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord, confess with your mouth, you will be saved. Jesus is the way. You get to heaven. Yay! You made it. I don't want to just make it. I want to live to win, but we have to know what it means to win. I don't want just a good life, because those who are trapped in the good life, and Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary and heavily laden, and I will give you rest. And Jesus said, follow me, and I'll take care of you. It's the Old Testament promise. If you make me your God, you will be my people, and I will sustain and protect and take care of you. It's true today, just as it was true back then. But if that's the only reason you become a Christian, then when difficult times come, then when your dad dies, then when you get cancer, when someone gets fired in your house and you don't know how you're going to make your house payments, then when your car breaks down the same month that the pipe on the outside of your house that you've never even thought of going to the sewer is backed up with the tree root. And to make matters worse, your library books are late. It's in that moment that you're going to wonder, is this Christian life all it's cracked up to be? I mean, I give my life to Christ and I haven't lost any weight, and I haven't met the woman or the man or the person of my dreams, and I haven't gotten the promotion, and I haven't done, and you start looking at the haven'ts because you thought that you would have the better, and the better isn't happening, and you're wondering, where's God in my life? Because you're searching for the good and the better today instead of longing for something even better and even further. I heard one preacher say, a lot of people are praying against the consequences of sin, deliverance from the consequences of sin, instead of praying for the deliverance of sin. I was like, man, that's good. I got to tell people that. So now I said it, then next time I say it, I can say I said it. Jesus didn't come and die on a cross, take upon the sins of the world, get his beard ripped out, get pierced, buried, and raised from the grave, just so you and I can live better. He came, he died, so that we could have relationship and live forever with him. And have the inheritance. He shares his inheritance with us. And this is important. Because here's the deal. Let's be honest. I know you're thinking when I stand up here that Brent Silke and I look a lot alike. And I know you're thinking that I probably run a lot. I don't. As a matter of fact, I think I'm allergic to running. because I get sweaty. My hands sweat. I have a little hard time breathing. You know, I feel like maybe I have like some sort of like lung issue that when I run, like my lungs hurt when I run. And my legs, I mean, it's like jello. And I'm like, so it's got to be a really important reason that I'm going to run. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Mojo Monkey in the fireside room. I run for that. Like, if I told you, because running without purpose or pain without purpose it's just a drudgery. You're not going to do it. You're not going to go through pain without a reason. But if I told you, all of you, the first person to run to the Capitol and back, we'd pay off your mortgage. Guess what? Some of you never knew how fast you were. Because of the purpose. Because you're like, I'm hoofing it. I don't care. I'm running. You would be elbowing. You would be like, you'd hail an Uber. You'd cheat to win that prize. What prize are you running for? Why are you doing this Christian life? Why did you commit your life to Christ? Because if it's just for a better, you're going to have pain, as Jesus says. But in James 1, it says, blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of what? Life that God has promised those who love him. That's the eternal life he's talking about. A crown of life, not death. Of hope, not hopelessness. A future, not being stuck in our past. So faith gets you to heaven, but there is more. I want you to lean in. When I read these next few verses, I want the Lord to speak to you. It says in 2 Timothy, I have fought the good fight. You ever been in a fight? I want to win fights, just be honest. I've finished the race. Nothing more disappointing than not finishing. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. He says again in 1 Corinthians 3, this is important. So this is coming. This is not today, this is coming. For no other foundation, this is 1 Corinthians 3, verse 11. For no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now, if anyone builds on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it. What day is he talking about? I'm going to talk to you about that. The day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire. Oh, I love fire. And the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work, which he has built on it, endures, he will receive a reward. What is he talking about here? Here's what's important for you to know. You get to heaven by faith. How do you get to heaven? Nobody in this room, not one single person in this room is good enough for heaven. You're just not. You see, but I gave in the offering. They said to give. I went out in 333 and I just put a little something in there. And so I get in. Nope. But I took communion, so that gets me in. Nope. Unless you accept and believe and confess that Jesus is Lord, you ain't getting in. So faith gets you in. But then he talks about works. In a day, here's what I need you to understand. And there's a whole lot of theology in Scripture here that I'm not going to read, but you can ask Pastor Eric and he'll back me up on this. In Revelation, in multiple moments in the letters to the epistles, we see this illusion or this description of a day. So the first judgment is a judgment of faith. Do you have your name in the Lamb's Book of Life? Are you a part of the family? Have you surrendered your life to Jesus? And if you have not said, I surrender my life to Jesus, then you are missing out. And today can be your day. And you can know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can meet Jesus if you make that profession of faith. But after that, there's a moment. Now, I asked for a volunteer, and he said, well, what do you want me to do? And I said, well, you know how like magicians, they bring people up on stage and they saw them in half, and well, I know I could probably do the first one pretty easy. I've never tried it, but I could probably do that. I just can't do the second one, so I'm not going to do that. But I want my volunteer, Ben, to come up here, and I want to show you what this second judgment is like and what this moment in Scripture is like, because you have to feel it. You have to experience. You have to see it. And if you don't visualize it, you won't know why you're doing this. Now, Ben, do you know these people?
Some of them.
Okay, so is this on? I don't think this is on. Okay, so Ben, you work here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're under the insurance here, right?
I hope so.
Okay. Now, if you don't know Ben, you need to get to know Ben. Ben is amazing. He's got a cool story, and he's really likes cars. So that's Ben. But Ben, have you ever won anything?
Well, yeah.
Okay, like in school or something like that, like you were a winner?
Sure. Yeah, I was a winner.
Okay, so you put that like on your application, like I won the 5th grade spelling bee and stuff like that?
No.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, you have never won anything like you're about to win.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so, and Ben, you love Jesus, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've professed him with your heart, and you said, I love Jesus. I'm in. I'm in. Okay, so you're in. But guess what, Ben? Did you know that all the things in your life, like, are going to be presented before God in heaven? That's what this says. It says that God is going to come with, like, I imagine, like, Ben, you're probably like a 20 by 20 trailer truck kind of person, right? I mean, you're not like a little box. Like, you've done some stuff in life, but guess what? None of the stuff in this box is the bad stuff. Isn't that cool? So it's all the stuff where you were like, yeah, I blessed that person. Well, that goes in there. Yeah, I love that person. Yeah, I served. Yeah, I gave. Yeah, I put my energy into sharing about my faith. Yeah, I did the things that nobody sees. I went the extra effort, and when I was cleaning, I cleaned a corner that had never been cleaned before. Guess what? All the stuff that nobody sees you do. It's not like Santa where he's checking it twice. No, God is like, okay, I'm putting that in. And then there's motive and there's heart and there's stuff. And sometimes we do things and we're like, yeah, people are going to see me. I'm dropping it like it's hot. Look at me. I'm such a good Christian. No, that doesn't fit in there. And then God's going to lay it before you. Now, wait, this doesn't work in here. You can give me that. You stand on that chair. That's why I asked about insurance. All right. Now look, see all these people? All these people here have been rooting for you. All these people surrounded by a great crowd of witnesses. And God's going to go, hey, did you see this? And somebody like, I was there. I saw Ben do that. Nobody else did. All right, that's good. And then God is going to play with fire and consume all the things. That's our judgment of motive. Why'd you do it? Why did you do it? Because if you do it for anybody else but Him, it's not worship. This is worship. This is our life's body of work unto the Lord. This is being a disciple and being disciplined unto the Lord. And guess what's left? Ka-chow. If you were wondering what the Beijing Olympic medal is, I found a picture and put it on the screen. Boom. You imagine that bling? Woo-hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's some gold. And all of these Olympians are running and chasing and sliding and crashing and hurting themselves for that. But Ben, here's the cool part. Jesus takes what's left and he looks at you in the eyes and he says, well done. Now, hold on. If this were heaven, in a second, you would go bananas. I'm just saying, like, if this were really the moment that you're going to experience in heaven on eternity, we're surrounded by a great crowd of witnesses, like Moses will be there, and Abraham will be there, and Elijah, and you'll see Peter, and you'll see John, and you'll see Pastor Eric, and the loved ones who've been praying for you for years will all be here. And in this moment, Jesus will get up and he will stand and he will award you this moment. Come on. Well done. Why do we run? In Mojo Monkey. Why do we fight? So we can just be busy. So people go, hey, how you doing? I'm busy. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just busy. I'm on mission. I'm serving a church. I'm sharing the gospel. I'm reading my Bible. Why are you reading your Bible? Because I want to honor the Lord with my works. Unto the Lord. Why are you raising kids? Well, because they'll arrest me if I don't. Because I'm training arrows in the hand of God. Why are you doing this? Because Eric's cool? Trust me, he ain't that cool. Because I love Jesus. Because I want more than this life can offer. Because I want to win something that can never be taken away. Because I surrender my life to him, and that's all that matters. And if I can spend the rest of my days serving and working and doing and blessing and being all that Jesus was, a follower of Jesus, one who does the works of Jesus, one who speaks the words of Jesus, one who lives the life of Jesus. And it may mean that I have to give the sacrifices that Jesus gave. But there is a reward that is greater than anything on this earth. Why do you run? Why do you fight? Why do you attend? Why do you serve? For the gold of heaven. For the good life, yes. For the life eternal, yes. Would you stand with me? We're going to sing this song one more time. And as we sing, I'm going to invite you to make a commitment to the Lord. Not to this church, to the Lord. And I'm going to ask you just one simple question. Is there anything in your life that the Lord is asking you to lay on the altar before him? Is there an attitude, a behavior? Maybe God's been calling you to do something that you have been resistant to because it will cost you something. And if that's it, just lay it before him right here. And as we sing, maybe you're in your seats, you don't have to move, but you're just going to say, okay, Lord, I re-sign up. I re-engage. I'm available. I'm yours. I surrender. I am all that you want me to be because I want to win the prize. I want to do all that you've called me to do because there's so much more for me. Jesus, right now, I pray that you would move in this room, that you would transform our hearts. Lord, that we would have not just an earthly perspective of a better life, but we would have a heavenly perspective of eternity with you. Lord, transform us. Deal with our insecurities. Lord, we surrender. Right now, just begin to move. We just surrender. Just say those words, I surrender to you, Jesus. All I am, all I have. Just surrender to the call to be more for you.
I hear you call. I am available. I say, yes, Lord. I am available. Oh, I hear you call. I am available. I say, yes, Lord. I am available. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Oh, you can have it all. I hear you call. I am available. I hear you, Lord. I am available. I am available. Oh, we hear you calling. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Here I am. Here I am. You can have it all. You can have it all. Lord, we just surrender again this morning. Lord, you see everything that we have to give, Lord. And so, Lord, we come to the table again with everything, Jesus. Lord, there's nothing better we can give ourselves to this morning than that hope of heaven, Jesus. You can have every part. We trust you with every piece